Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Whether you're new to aviation or an experienced pilot looking to advance your skills, Go Vertical Aviation has you covered. With an excellent learning atmosphere and a staff committed to excellence in education, Go Vertical Aviation will customize a learning program just for you. For more information, go to goverticalaviation.com or call 256-412-5226. Be sure to follow Go Vertical Aviation on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Don't just go, go vertical.
Boutique Air in Muscle Shoals, Alabama offers direct flights to Atlanta and Pensacola. Boutique Air service runs twice daily, 7 days a week, with fares starting at $59. Follow Boutique Air Muscle Shoals on Facebook at Boutique Air MSL and book your flight through boutiqueair.com. Boutique Air,
Where you can fly private for the cost of commercial.
no representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. My wife and I sat down with Harlan Mitchell and discussed our own estate planning needs. I know in our experience, Harlan brought up questions that caused us to think about our current situation and what we need to do moving forward. When you sit down with Harlan for your free consultation, you're going to find out things that you may have not thought about when it comes to estate planning. I encourage you to go to BamaEstatePlanning.com or give Harlan Mitchell a call at 256-216-9884 and schedule your free consultation today.
Would you like enhanced energy, better moods, less fatigue, help with allergies, better sleep, mental clarity, or just want improvement of your overall immune health and well-being? Do you need to recover from intense activities, workouts, or sports? Then IV therapy at the Drip Factor inside Trinity Medical Center is right for you. Our IV drips are filled with nutrients, vitamins, and minerals that will help your body replenish, restore, and achieve your wellness goals. For more information, visit trinity-medicalcare.com and schedule your appointment today at Trinity Medical Center, located at 500 Governors Drive.
Experience the difference at Athens Bible School. The vision and purpose is to provide each student a quality education in a Christ-centered environment to develop the whole person spiritually, mentally, physically, and socially in safe and supportive surroundings. The solid biblical foundation permeates learning and culture in the classrooms and every extracurricular activity.
Hey everybody, this is Daryl Worley, and you're listening to The Mark White Show. Hey, step up and make a difference like he does.
This old world is full of hurt and pain. a little sunshine, and a whole lot of rain. It don't take much to drive those clouds away. Let's all do something good today. You never know what someone's going through. Don't underestimate what you can do. A friendly smile's a tiny price to pay. Let's all do something good today.
Welcome to another edition of the Mark White Show. I am your host, Mark White, and I'm glad that you could join us today as we talk about Africa, a continent that many of us are not familiar with. We don't know a lot of the customs and the things that people go through, that experience in Africa. But you know what? They're people just like us, and they have needs, and they have goals, they have ambitions. And I think that it's good for us to think about people outside of the United States and what their needs are and how we can help them. I have with me right now Mr. Jim Allen. He is a preacher at North Jackson Church of Christ in Houston, Mississippi, but he's also the president of A Helping Hand for Africa, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. Welcome to the Mark White Show, Jim Allen.
Well, thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate you extending me the invitation to visit with you today.
It is good for us to think about people outside of this country when we can find opportunities to help.
Yes, absolutely. We see and we're aware of needs that exist here every day, but these same needs, and maybe to a greater extent, exist in Africa with the people there.
One of the things that you posted a few days ago was about Zimbabwe and government hospitals treating people for COVID, the number of people who are seeking treatment, and the problem that they're running into when it comes to running out of drugs at the pharmacy, which are already very expensive.
The government there here just a few days ago, they declared a national emergency with the virus. And as a result of that, that means that the government will take care of the people. And so they're offering free services at the hospitals for the virus and for medication. But the problem is that Zimbabwe, being a poor country like it is, there's just not a lot of resources there, even though they're being offered, by the government free. There's I hate to say this, but there's a lot of corruption in the nation there, and it's something that the people there, they have to deal with, they have to live with on a daily basis. But as a result of it, the hospitals have just been overflowing with individuals seeking treatment. And I had a preacher friend of mine that currently has the virus, and I was talking with him, seeing how he was doing, and he mentioned another friend of ours that went to the hospital, and that he was at the hospital 2 days before he ever saw a doctor. Though the government is extending the services free to those, they're limited in what they have. And then two, the people out in the bush, they don't have means of transportation. They don't have means to travel, hundreds of miles to a hospital. They don't have the clinics like we do here, the portable clinics that you can set up, because they simply don't have the facilities to do that, nor do they have the knowledge to deal with the virus, the medication as well, because some of it has to be refrigerated, and then after, they open it up to use it, it has to be used within a certain number of hours and everything. And so, it sounds good when we say the government's taking care of these people. But this is just a very, very few individuals that have access to the hospitals and to the medicine that's being offered. And as a result, you can imagine them being overwhelmed in your larger cities, like Harare and Bulawayo and Big Falls, other areas. It's created a tremendous problem.
Now, Jim, our friend Steve Klein, he's been to Zimbabwe several times, and before COVID hit, he actually joined me here on the show to talk about his work there in Zimbabwe. I want to ask this question so listeners can understand, how does a man living in Houston, Mississippi connect with Zimbabwe in Africa?
today, of course, the connections that I have with the media that we have, with the internet and Skype and Messenger, and even in some areas and some sections, cell phones. I've made several trips to Africa, and but I haven't been back since 2014. I had back surgery. I actually hurt my back while I was in Africa on a trip, and the result ended up having surgery when I got back. But I've stayed in touch with many of the preachers that I've met. I have a Bible class that I teach Sunday morning at 8:30 to one of the congregations in Vic Falls. I teach a Bible study on Wednesday morning to a congregation in Massavinga. And I put on lectureships over Skype and Messenger. And I talk to the preachers that I've met through the years. I probably talk to 2 or 3 of them each day. And so through contact with them over the internet, Messenger, and so forth, I'm made aware of the needs that exist among the people there in Africa. These individuals that are preaching, I'm talking about, these are not individuals that are located with just one preacher. These are individuals that they may be working with 5 or 6 different congregations, and they're traveling each Sunday and preaching, for maybe 2 or 3 congregations, and so they're out in the rural areas or in the bushes, we say, meeting these people, and so they're able to keep me updated on the events and the things that are going on in Africa. The ones that I primarily have contact with is with a brother in Big Falls, and his name is Peter Medenda. And Peter he is a great individual. He's a great preacher, and I have traveled with him on numerous occasions. And then Silence Taramba, I've spent time with Silence in his home and all. His father, Nelson, I've spent time in their homes and my travels and everything. And then there are other individuals in different areas that I've visited with, spent time with. And so I have a lot of contacts. And, the question that you asked me, Mark, it's a good question, because I've been asked that many times by individuals. And that is, how do you know about the need that is there? And how do you know that the need is a legitimate need? And so I've simply shared with them what I've shared with the audience today, that I have no preachers in all parts of the country. And I can call and I can talk with them. I have confidence in them because I've been with them. I've heard them preach. I know the stand they take for the truth. I know how they love the Lord. And I can talk with them, and they will inform me, well, that's a situation that maybe you don't want to be involved in, or maybe you need to let me do a little bit more research. But so I'm not just making snap decisions on what I want to do or what the organization wants to do. We have input from folks that are actually living there and that are seeing these needs and witnessing the things that are going on throughout, primarily Zimbabwe and Zambia and South Africa.
Jim, growing up in the Hedrick household, my grandfather was connected to Mexico. One of his main points of contact was Mr. Vicente Ramirez in Brownsville, Texas. And that's how my grandfather knew when we would go and travel to these locations in Mexico to visit with preachers that the support that was being sent was actually helping the way that it was supposed to. And so I can understand that from the perspective of what my granddad did there in Mexico in what you're doing in Africa.
When I was living up in the Tupelo area, and I was working with the Northeast congregation there, I also served as one of the elders for that congregation. And once every 2 to 3 years, I would go to Africa, and I would visit with all the men that we're supporting, and I would spend time with them, and looking at the work they were doing, and just in essence, really to verify that that we were spending the Lord's money in a way that the Lord would have us to spend it. And so I was fortunate for the 11 years that I lived in Tupelo, to be able to do that. And so there's been very few occasions, though there have been some. There's always, I guess, a bad apple in every barrel, But I'm going to say 99% of the time, the men that we've sent funds to and that I've visited and talked with, that they were doing the work that they were receiving funds to do. And many of them, they make tremendous sacrifices, Mark, to do the work that they're doing.
Right now, folks, we're talking to Mr. Jim Allen. He's a minister at North Jackson Church of Christ in Houston, Mississippi. And separate from that, he's the president of A Helping Hand for Africa Incorporated. It's a nonprofit 501c3. And when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. We're going to talk about how you can help A Helping Hand for Africa as we try to help our neighbors on the continent of Africa. Will you stick with me, Mr. Jim?
Yes, I'll be glad to.
All right, folks, I hope you'll stick with us, too, as we continue this conversation. You are listening to The Mark White Show.
I'll do something good today. A little wink, a pat on the back, a big old hug, a little laugh. We can make a difference. All we have to do is try. Every day's a chance to change somebody else's life. Let's all do something good today.
Mr. Cecil Batchelor is the one that started this business as Dependable Service Center. And even though now it's Green's Dependable Hardware and we're a True Value store, our tagline is still Your Dependable Service Center. We've tried to keep that alive for all these years. Mr. Batchelor really started a good business. We're really excited to be carrying on a long-standing tradition. It's the oldest retail store in the city of Russellville. We're Green's Dependable Hardware, 15220A Highway 43 in Russellville, Alabama. We're right behind McDonald's or right across the street from the hospital. Number is 256-331-0123.
Your Dependable Service Center.
The best way to buy, sell, and experience land is with Jonathan Berryhill. For your farm, ranch, recreational, hunting, timber, and acreage needs, contact National Land Realty Professional Jonathan Berryhill at 256-874-7354. or email at jberryhill@nationalland.com. Be sure to follow Jonathan Berryhill with National Land Realty on Facebook. This is your land. Located in Tuscumbia, Alabama, the Alabama Music Hall of Fame honors Alabama's music achievers. You can even go into the recording studio and try out your talents as a singer. That's the Alabama Music Hall of Fame, located at 617 Highway 72 West in Tuscumbia, Alabama. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Give them a call at 256-381-4417. Check them out on the web at alamhof.org. Thompson Roofing and Construction is a locally owned family business serving the North Alabama and Southern Tennessee area. They are a Better Business Bureau A+ member since 2011 and a GAF Master Elite Contractor. Give them a call at 256-952-3309 or check them out on the web at 256roofing.com. They offer free inspections.
Thompson Roofing and Construction.
Is it time for a haircut? Go see my friends Philip Butler and B.H. Parker at Southwind Barbershop, located at 1637 Lee Street in Rogersville, Alabama. Give them a call at 256-247-5658. That's 256-247-5658.
If you like hickory smoked ribs that fall apart at the slightest pull, or barbecue shoulders that are so slow smoked each tender bite melts in your mouth, then you are going to love Baby Jack's Barbecue. Baby Jack's Barbecue in Bartlett and Arlington. Try the barbecue chicken, beef brisket sandwich, barbecue potato, it is huge, or the Baby Jack Trio, pork, turkey, or beef brisket sliders. You like wet ribs? They like dry ribs. Get one slab that has them both. Catering? Baby Jack's can feed a family or an army. drive in, drive through, order online, or come in and set a minute. Baby Jack's Barbecue in Bartlett at Highway 70 in Appling, or in Arlington at Highway 70 just a block west of 385.
Hi, I'm Crystal Gale, and you're listening to The Mark White Show. And one smile can make a difference. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Someone loves you, I do.
He drives into the city, works extra hard all day, finishes up early so he can get away. 'Cause there's a blue-eyed kid on second base, wants Dad to watch him play. Daddy knows he's waiting.
Welcome back to the Mark White Show. I am your host, Mark White, and I'm very glad to have Mr. Jim Allen on the line with me right now. He's a minister. He works with the church in Houston, Mississippi, North Jackson Church of Christ. He's also the president of A Helping Hand for Africa Incorporated. It's a nonprofit 501c3. Welcome back to the Mark White Show, Jim Allen.
Well, thank you, Mark, for having me.
You laid it out very well about how this got started. I wanted to find out how you became president of A Helping Hand for Africa, and as our listeners are listening, what you would like to see them do to help this special nonprofit.
Well, sure, I'd be glad to. The organization was formed earlier last year because of the trips that I'd made and the contacts I had in Africa. I started getting an influx of calls from individuals last year that were wanting to send funds to help with situations that they had heard about on Facebook or had been made known of through, other means by some individual perhaps. And so they were having trouble getting the money over there. And so I began to receive phone calls of individuals asking me, hey, can you send funds to Africa for me? Or they'd ask me, we got an email from a brother here. We don't know who this brother is. Do you know him? He's talking about needs and everything. Could you help us to verify this? So I mentioned there was just an influx of calls that I began to receive. And I had served as vice president for another 501c3 for several years. And I served as vice president. So I knew a little bit about what went on and everything. And so I just decided that there was a need that existed here and that perhaps I could, take care of this void. And so I talked to one of the members here who is a CPA and asked him what I would need to do to form this corporation. And so he told me he'd be glad to help me. And so he filed the paperwork for me back in November. And in December we were approved, and so now we are legal, you might say, and we are a tax exempt organization under the 501c3 of the United States Internal Revenue Code. So that's how Helping Hand for Africa came about, and so I hope that we're providing. Are filling the void for a need that exists to get funds over there. And I receive phone calls and messages for everybody, numerous people thanking me for what I'm doing, but really I want to thank them for what they're doing. And they're providing a need that exists and helping folks that probably they'll never ever see the side of heaven. And it just warms my heart to know that they're individuals that do care for other individuals. So that's how the 501c3 got started. And of course, there was paperwork that had to be filed. And the purpose of this organization is to provide individuals with Bibles, religious literature, to those who are disadvantaged, to help extend medical aid, to extend food, to help them in providing permanent housing. And we've been able to, through the through the love of many individuals, to help with numerous of these needs in just the short time that we have been organized and that we've been serving. So it's really been a blessing. The organization, we do not receive funds from any organization. All the funds that we receive, they strictly come from individuals. And so we don't receive funds from churches or any other established organizations, just strictly from individuals. And there's several ways that you contribute to Helping Hand for Africa Incorporated. A lot of folks just like to put a check in the mail and mail it to me. And if they do that, I ask them, of course, to make the check out to A Helping Hand for Africa Incorporated. And on the back of it, put for deposit only, if they would please. Also, I receive funds through a service through our cell phone called Venmo that some folks may be familiar with. They can send to A Helping Hand for Africa Incorporated through Venmo. I also have a PayPal account that they can send funds through. To be honest with you, the one that is most used, individuals just send a check. That's probably where about 70 to 80% of the funds that are contributed come from. It's just personal checks that individual sends to the mailing address that we have for the organization.
And what is that mailing address, Jim?
Okay, the mailing address is A Helping Hand for Africa Incorporated, in care of Jim Allen, 815 North Jackson Street, Houston, Mississippi, 38851.
And also, if they have questions, they can email you. You have an email address of allenjim01@comcast.net. That's ALLENJIM01 at comcast.net if they want to reach out and maybe ask some questions, right?
Absolutely. Or if they want to, Mark, they can call me. My cell number is 662-416-4768.
And again, the post that you made a few days ago was requesting specific help with doctor bills and medicine for several who are having troubles with that. And so specifically, if someone gets in their mind maybe specifically what they are helping right now or what the need is, that's a good way to think about it, to think about the people over there who need our help right now.
Absolutely. I guess in the last 4 days, last 5 days, Helping Hand for Africa, we've sent $1,200 for medicine and for doctor bills. The individuals in the rural area, as I mentioned, they're not able to travel to a hospital or to a clinic, and so they're able to make arrangements for doctors to come to them. And of course, if that takes place, it's more expensive. It's more expensive, and so our listeners need to be made aware of that. I mentioned the folks out in the rural areas in the bush that can't make it to the hospitals. Also, a lot of these preachers that I mentioned to you, they are aware of members where they preach for the different congregations, and they will contact me and they will say, "Brother Jim, we have 3 members that have the COVID, and they need medicine," and they'll give me the amount that's needed, and we'll make the arrangements. Hopefully, we'll have the funds to do that. But one thing that I do, there's always complete transparency. And all the funds that are spent, all the funds that are sent, I ask every individual, and like I said, primarily I'm dealing with preachers who are serving as messenger, and they will take and they will deliver the funds to individuals. I ask for receipts on all transactions, and one of our members here is a CPA, and he takes care of all that. And he is a stickler to make sure that we do everything as it needs to be done, as according to the law. Not that we would not want to, but it's good having someone who's a CPA, looking over the things that we're doing and filing all the forms that we need to file, with the government. And I will mention this to you: all the members of the board, they're all devout Christians. The lady that serves as the vice president, it's my wife. We've been married for 48 years. And the gentleman that serves as the treasurer is Brother Jason Brooks. And as I mentioned, he's the CPA. And then our secretary is Lindsay Branch, and she lives in Clinton, and she's one of my daughters as well. And so all the members they're very faithful, devout Christians. They all have a love for the Lord, and they all have a love for what Jesus said in Matthew, in Matthew 22:39, that we are to love our neighbor as ourselves. So the board is made up of individuals that do have this love, and we're all on the same page. And we haven't had any problems whatsoever. And we receive funds, and people request they be used for a specific reason or purpose. And the board, we will meet, and we'll mention the funds that we have and needs that we have, and approval will be given, and then we act. And so as soon as we receive these funds, they're put in the bank, and they're not sitting there. I think the last time I looked at the balance was about 3 or 4 days ago, and we had just a little over $1,000, and I've already received some requests today from some additional help, so that's going to be depleted pretty soon. The one thing that really breaks my heart, Mark, and I know you can relate to this, is we get requests for funds, and the funds are not available to send. And we have to tell an individual, yes, we're willing to help, we want to help, and we'll help you as soon as we can. And sometimes the situation is that these individuals, they need this help immediately. They can't wait 3 or 4 days or a week. And so I'm encouraged when we receive funds and from individuals that I'm talking to, and they tell me they're going to send them, and I know that I'm going to have the funds within 2 to 3 days, and I can contact these individuals and I can give them a definite date, and I can give them some hope, that there are brethren here that are concerned about you. They're individuals, and the funds are coming, and they're always so grateful. I tell you, I have never met individuals that are so humble and so thankful and so grateful than the people that I've met in Africa.
Well, Jim, you took the opportunity to thank those who support this effort, A Helping Hand for Africa, and I know that some of my listeners are in that number. I also want to take the opportunity right now, Jim, to thank you and your team of people who are working diligently to make this happen, to get those funds to those in need in Zimbabwe, on the continent of Africa. So thank you, Jim. I appreciate your good work, and I'm glad that you could share about this effort today.
Well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you inviting me to be with you today, and I hope that the things that we've discussed and talked about, that it'll help some of those that are listening. And again, I want to give a shout out to those who are listening who have contributed, and thank you, and ask of other individuals that perhaps haven't been aware of some of the needs that exist there, that they would certainly consider, getting in contact with me, and that we can talk about some needs that exist there, that we can fulfill the spirit that we see in Matthew 22:39.
Jim, let's close out with, again, you giving the address for people to mail checks, and then also your email and phone number.
They can mail a check to A Helping Hand for Africa, Incorporated, care of Jim Allen, 815 North Jackson Street, Houston, Mississippi, 38851. And make the check out to A Helping Hand for Africa Incorporated. And if you would, please, on the back of it, put for deposit only. And so that's the mailing address. And my email is allenjim01@comcast.net. And my phone number, my cell, is 662-416-4768.
Jim Allen, again, thank you for joining me here on the Mark White Show today, and I hope that there are those who are listening right now who will support this effort as individuals and help support A Helping Hand for Africa.
Thank you so much, Mark, and may the Lord continue to bless you in the work that you're doing, and we certainly appreciate this opportunity to share news about A Helping Hand for Africa.
Thank you, my friend. Folks, today we've been talking to Mr. Jim Allen. He's a minister with North Jackson Church of Christ in Houston, Mississippi, and separately, he is the president of A Helping Hand for Africa Incorporated. It's a nonprofit 501c3. We appreciate Jim Allen joining us today as we try to help those across the ocean. Let's make a difference together. That's what the Mark White Show is about. I hope that this show is making a difference in your life. And if it is, you'll share it with your friends, your family, your neighbors. Let them know about the Mark White Show and what we're doing to make a difference in our communities, not just here in the United States, but around the world. You can follow the Mark White Show on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and subscribe to the Mark White Show podcast via Apple iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Audio Boom, SoundCloud, Blueberry, YouTube, and TuneIn Radio. You have been listening to another edition of the Mark White Show, and this is Mark White, encouraging you to find your purpose by making a difference in someone's life today.
Who live and love in my hometown. Ah, these are my kind of people.
Whether you're new to aviation or an experienced pilot looking to advance your skills, Go Vertical Aviation has you covered. With an excellent learning atmosphere and a staff committed to excellence in education, Go Vertical Aviation will customize a learning program just for you. For more information, go to goverticalaviation.com or call 256-412-5226. Be sure to follow Go Vertical Aviation on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Don't just go. Go vertical.
Boutique Air in Muscle Shoals, Alabama offers direct flights to Atlanta and Pensacola. Boutique Air service runs twice daily, 7 days a week with fares starting at $59. Follow Boutique Air Muscle Shoals on Facebook at Boutique Air MSL and book your flight through boutiqueair.com. Boutique Air,
where you can fly private for the cost of commercial.
He's got a cold, nothing to worry about.
Just need a couple of stitches.
Your COVID rapid test is negative.
Oh boy, X-ray shows it's broken.
Trust Trinity Medical Care when you need urgent care or routine medical care. Walk-ins are welcome, or let Trinity help you virtually with telemedicine. Visit trinity-medicalcare.com for more information and follow them on Facebook. Trinity Medical Care, where your care comes first. Located on Governor's Drive in South Parkway.
You hear me, people, when I say, well, let's all do something good today. Something good today.